Hey, I'm Mike Beckrell, and today we're going to take a look at a whole tone scale pattern that I got from Kurt Rosenwinkel. Let's take a look. Back in 2011 or 2012, I saw Kurt Rosenwinkel play with his standards trio, and during the show, one of the tunes ended on a big G7 altered chord, and Kurt did this big cadenza, and he played this as part of it before he resolved it to a nice big C chord. So this pattern comes from the whole tone scale, and the whole tone scale, if you don't know, is just whole steps. So anywhere you start, if you just go 2 frets at a time, you get your whole tone scale that way. And there's a number of ways to finger this. The way I like is you do 3 notes on one string, so 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, G, A, B, 2 notes on the 5th string, 4th fret and 6th fret, C sharp and D sharp. To finish the octave, you do 2 notes on the 4th string, so F and G. And to keep the pattern going, but it's just really any way you play whole steps like this will get you the scale. And it's usually used over, some sort of altered dominant or a dominant chord with a sharp 5 or something like that. So this pattern in particular is really cool because we're omitting most of the notes. So we start with start on G, go to A, and we play C sharp and D sharp. So those are our first 4 notes. And then for the first little bit, we keep just those 2 notes going. We go up in groups of 4. So then we go to A, C sharp, D sharp, G. And then C sharp, D, G, A. And then we go D sharp, G, A, C sharp. We keep going up in groups of 4. G, A, C sharp, D sharp. Now here we change a little bit because to keep that pattern going, we'd have to do an awkward position shift with the exact same notes. And so to keep it a little simpler, we changed the top notes a little bit. So we go, then from here we go A, C sharp, D sharp, F, C sharp, D sharp, F, G, D sharp, F, G, B, and then F, G, B, C sharp, and D sharp. So here's the whole pattern. So the way I articulate this, I think, is one of the ways that makes it easy to kind of play quick. And it gives it this really kind of fluid sound. So it's mostly hammer-ons. Anytime you have 2 notes on a string, you play it with hammer-ons. And then any of the times you have 1 note, you pick it. So you pick the first note of each group. Like I said, when I saw Kurt do this, he did it as part of a cadenza, and a cadenza is like a big unaccompanied solo thing to either end a tune. Usually in the jazz, you would end a tune this way, but you could start a tune like this too. The tune ends on a G7, and so he starts, he plays this line, and that's just how he started it. Once he gets to the top, he started playing around G altered or G whole tone, and kind of filled it in and worked his way back down to a note that could then resolve to a C. So I'm going to attempt to demonstrate something in the style of what I remember him doing. So I played up the line, and then I noodled around in whole tone for a minute, and then worked my way back down to a note that I thought would resolve really well to the C. So in this case, I picked B, which, leads right to it. Now, besides cadenzas, you could also use this, as a line in a 2/5 or, over a 5 chord or something like that. I used to use this line a lot, over the bridge to Stella, because it starts with the G7 sharp 5, so and there's also C minor. So I use it a lot there. But you can use this anywhere really where you're playing a G7 altered, of course. Now, Kurt used it as a cadenza, but I'm sure he's used it plenty as part of just his regular playing over a tune. So I hope you like this really simple concept, just as a little pattern to play. But I think it's kind of fun and something worth exploring. So see you next time.